Welcome to the Leadership Kitchen podcast. I'm Olya Panivnyk, author and host of this podcast, and also CEO and founder of coaching and consulting agency, Be Change. And I'm really delighted to have our guest in the kitchen today. I recall our first encounter, and to me it was encounter with passion, professionalism, and authenticity, all three in one person. So I'm really happy that you'll have a chance to embrace yourself, our listeners, in presence of this passion and professionalism and authenticity today. So let me please welcome to the kitchen Julia Biletska. Julia is the CEO and co-founder of S.Lab. She is an inspiring leader with a vision to transform the packaging industry through sustainable innovation. Julia has always desired to make a global impact, and in 2024, this year, she was honored with the European Prize for Women Innovators, organized by European Innovation Council and the European Institute for Innovation and Technology. Julia, welcome to the kitchen.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Olya. It's an honor to be here. Thank you very much. And I like the name of the podcast. It is Leadership Kitchen. So it's kind of kitchen conversation.
It's kitchen conversation. So let's start cooking together. And we usually start our podcast with exploring what leadership means to our guests. So I would have this question to you today. What does leadership mean to you?
Maybe also I would like to mention the prize that you mentioned from Women Innovators. I actually received this prize in the category specifically awarding women leadership for women leaders. So it really emphasizes that, experts think that I'm a leader, but I think that it's always a progress. So I wouldn't say that I'm a great leader at the moment. I think it's still always a development. And for me, leadership consists of four main areas. So the first area is leading yourself. So being self-aware, being responsible, being proactive in your own life. Then the second area is actually leading teams. So, or smaller groups, I would say. So lead them with your vision, with your motivation, collaborating, communicating, working together towards one goal. Then the next level, or next area is leading organizations. And it could be, company, it could be a non-governmental organization or a bigger group than just a team, maybe several teams. And then I think with all of those three areas, we could actually lead the change. And as you said, that I always wanted to make an impact. So for me, making an impact is quite equal to leading the change and be that part of the change that I want to see in the world, and not, just say that, well, let's do something. I actually want to be a part of that. So I think those main areas are leadership for me. And of course, there are so many other things. Like I like to think of leadership as a positive example towards others. And often leaders have to have this combination of motivational skills, to be inspiring, to have a very strategic thinking, and be very looking forward towards the future. And at the same time, have a great management skills and know so many techniques, how to manage people, how to manage processes, how to manage projects. So this has to be a perfect combination of being inspiring, strategic, but at the same time being down to earth and being able to manage actually things and to make them happen, to execute. And I think that overall in leadership, communication is a key. So it is so important to build trust, to build this transparent communication where everyone feels heard, where everyone has a voice. So this is already coming to, inclusivity and diversity. So I think these are also very important topics. And to be a leader, you have to listen to so many voices and to actually hear them and then take them into consideration while you're doing something. So and I would say for me also, I like two words personally in my life that I think I implement as myself. And then towards others, it is dedication and commitment. So I think when the person is dedicated and committed to something, it naturally leads to being a leader in those areas.
Julia, while listening to you, I have a lot of insights, and you opened a door to a lot of questions. But before I'll jump into exploring how you lead yourself, you lead teams, organizations, you're creating the change and impact you aspire for, let me please invite you to tell us more about S.Lab. What does your company do? And pitch it to us, as we say in startup world.
Yeah, a few weeks ago, I was on some panel discussion, and someone, when they were introducing me, they said, "And now Julia, the rock star of the pitches." So it's kind of one of my favorite parts to pitch what we do. So we do work in a sustainable packaging industry where we produce a natural replacement of foamed plastic. And this is that white, squeaky, fluffy stuff that you normally see your TV set or device or cosmetics or food or pharmaceutics packed in. And we do this with only two plant-based components. One is agricultural waste, and the other one is mycelium. And mycelium, it is a network of mushroom roots. So once we mix those two together, mycelium starts to create nets, almost like a spider, and glues all the particles together. So we get a very similar material to polystyrene in terms of durability, waterproof, thermal insulation, and it is even more fire resistant and stronger than polystyrene. And the best part is that after the usage, it can be thrown into the soil and it will fully biodegrade in just 30 days. So it will fully disappear. So if we compare it to polystyrene that stays in the landfills and even in the oceans for 500 years, this is a huge already positive ecological impact. And it's not only about the material itself, we actually have developed our own innovative technology that already enables us to produce at the industrial scale, but we are actually working forward to that and working on even more scalability by optimizing this production line to fit to the mini factories size, so then we can have those decentralized network of the mini factories around the world. And this way we want to make sustainable packaging affordable and available. And there are some big names already in terms of the customers. We did have pilots with L'Oreal, with Nespresso, with the JTI. And of course, we work with small, medium businesses, and we help them to grow in both their business and sustainability.
Julia, I'm in awe, and I know your story, and I've heard your pitch, but every time it is inspiring to hear that such kind of a technology has Ukrainian roots. So I'm really proud that we have this Ukrainian region together. And I couldn't ask you, what's your big why behind doing this? Like, why do you invest your time, your talent, your energy, your treasures into developing this business?
Maybe it all comes down to a simple thing. I'm doing this for future generations. But of course, it's just, like a very short description. Actually, I have a personal story where I was traveling to Bali in Indonesia, and I was working remotely and, enjoying the life, doing surfing sessions. And it was 6 years ago, I think, maybe even more, maybe 7, 8. And it was a beautiful island, such an amazing nature. And one day I went to the beach to do the surfing session as usually. And instead of seeing this beautiful nature, I saw the seashore fully covered with plastic waste. And it was not just a couple of plastic items. These were huge piles of the waste. And I mean, everyone knows that plastic is bad and everyone is saying that. It's kind of obvious. But when I saw this with my own eyes, I could not think of anything else except this devastating picture. And I was not thinking in terms of, well, this is bad, this is a mess. I was trying to switch my thinking towards what can I do? And I started to look into the resources that were available, like scientific papers, overall any research in terms of how to create a new material. Then, of course, I was looking into the market. What are the solutions there? Why there is no implementation of those solutions? Because, I was sure at that time, and I'm still sure about that, that humanity as a whole would love to use something better than plastic, especially for single use. But there is nothing like that, or there was not a proper solution that would be as convenient as plastic, because let's face it, plastic is a great material. It has great properties, but it has to be convenient as plastic, and it has to, but at the same time, it has to be natural. And it is so hard to do that. So I just like, it was not only me, it was my co-founder there as well at that seashore in Bali. So we started to discuss this all the time and look into basically all the material that we could find. And we quickly realized that there are two components that are needed to create new material. One that gives strength, and the other one that is gluing it all together. So basically from that moment, when we saw that on the seashore of Bali, with this kind of disappointment, but having this big dream or big idea that, well, let's try to see if we can change it, since we saw it, and we should have all the energy, all the resources to change it. So that's how it all started. So starting from that moment, and yeah, then what I've started with, I do have two daughters, and I don't bring this often, like this is my personal life kind of thing, but still at the end, I'm sure that there are so many things that we could do, not only kids, but at the same time, I feel that this is so important to leave them this earth the better than it is at the moment. So I think it all still goes back to making it better for the future generations, and caring about our planet and taking care of it. So this is my way to take care of it.
Thank you for sharing your story. I believe that we will change this world one story at a time, story by story. So thank you for sharing your story here today, Julia. And now I'm thinking here, and I'm recalling a conversation we had some time ago, and I was struck by it. And there are two things why. First, what I heard from you in that conversation resonated with me a lot. And secondly, I do not hear this very often. So in that conversation, when you were considering your future focuses, your priorities, you mentioned three things. First one, you wanted to focus on developing a strong team. Second, you wanted to make sure that you have great product, which customers will love to buy, will want to buy. And third, you were working on scaling your mindset to scale the business further. Do you recall that conversation?
Yes, I do.
So I invite you to explore each focus, each priority you mentioned back then. And let's start with the first focus you mentioned. And let me ask you, how do you believe leadership is shown and seen through their team you lead?
Yeah, so I do believe that everything is created by people. And even in terms of the sales, in terms of investments, it all happens peer to peer, so person to person. And I do believe in building strong relations with people first, and seeing a personality first. And what I also do believe that people actually like to be part of the great big things, and people like to be productive and like to accomplish things, and they like to feel good about what they did. So I think combination of those things, that's like what helps me to build the strong team. And this is like just the basic level. Then of course the next level is that I try to give as much responsibility and authority to a person in the team as possible. So like if there is a task, or there is an area of responsibility, I want to make sure that this person has actually all the authority to influence this task, to influence this project, and to work with everyone, collaborate with everyone in the team. Then the next step, I think, or the next item is that we have a very horizontal structure in the team. This means that everyone has access to everyone. And of course, we try to be conscious about each one's time. But I think this horizontal system where any department can talk to any other department is very beneficial, because this expedites communication, hundreds times when anyone can talk to any other person in the team. form a small work group or form a project group and work together. And I think then, I mean, it's obvious, but the delegation is the big part of that. And I see that some of the meetings, some of the things, projects are even happening in our team without without my intervention. So basically, I do not participate at all. I might be there for some last steps or for the beginning, for setting up the mission or the goals, but then everything else happens in those teams. So I think this is like the key is collaboration, I would say, but also making people feel good about what they do. And again, everyone wants to feel productive. So I do feel that people, when they come to their work, they actually want to accomplish many things. So this is also like my secret, I would say, to make sure that every person always has enough or a load of tasks that is enough for them to actually feel this accomplishment that, wow, I did that. Wow, we did great. We were able to do this project. And maybe this project seemed big at the beginning, but then we actually decomposed it into different tasks and we were able to accomplish that. So I think this all comes to, like, in a nutshell, it is collaboration, ownership, and authority to the team.
Julia, could I share how I heard you?
Yes.
To me, your leadership sounded like seeing the best and bringing the best out of your team members.
I think so.
Would it resonate with you?
Yes, I think so. Yes.
So let's now go and explore the second focus. And the question here is, how do you believe leadership is shown through the product you develop? Could you share, please?
Yeah, and I always say that the product that we create has to be used by our customers. So we have to build this for them, actually, not for ourselves, not, for some other stakeholders. We do have to think about our users, how they will use that. And this was like my thinking from the very beginning. Even while we were doing customer discovery, we didn't start doing our product, our packaging, just, because we wanted to do that. We really spoke with so many potential customers and customers in the industry that we thought to target. And we did ask them, so what do you want to see in the packaging? If it is sustainable packaging, what you are lacking in the current solutions. So like really asking all of those questions and again, hearing customers and then making sure to take their feedback, process it, discuss in the team, and then execute and deliver the result. So I think this is how like leadership role comes through the creating a product, that you actually get to know your customers, again, process what they tell you, and then you deliver what they expect. And then if they expect something else, you just collect feedback again, iterate, and create a new product or another product.
Develop your leadership skills with us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Be Change, and follow our podcasts on Apple and Spotify. Support us with likes, comments, and share the episodes with your community. So now let's go into the third and the last focus you mentioned, and it was about scaling your mindset. So here, how do you believe leadership is shown through scaling your mindset?
Yeah, I think this is my favorite part, especially for past several months.
Mine too.
Good. So, it all started, I knew this all the time, probably from the moment I was kind of born. This is something that was in me, but I really realized that when I heard that in 2022, there were physicists who received a Nobel Prize for proving a concept that there is no object, or object doesn't have different properties without an observer. And this notion just struck with me so much. So, of course, it is more physical and it has more science into that. But what I heard there is that until we create something in our minds, it doesn't actually exist in real life. So that's when I realized that if I want to achieve something big, I actually have to have this in my mind first. I have to believe in that. And I think from that, all the rest starts. So I do have like a strong belief of our great team, of our great product, of how big it can be. And like even with a very simple example, like let's take our health or being, I wouldn't say being thin, but be healthy, let's say. And if you start to create this picture of yourself being healthy, being in a good shape, eating healthy, doing sports, this is the first step of actually being like that. And so this is a very simple example of visualizing something that you want to achieve and then actually achieving that. And this picture in your mind really helps you. So yeah, so that's the moment when I realized that I have to work with my mind, with my own mindset, and actually to scale it, to scale my own mindset, to scale the amount of revenue that we can earn through my own mindset. And I know it might sound a little bit esoteric, but this is also, it has a very scientific ground under that, that if you achieve goals, you actually have your basically milestones that you want to reach. And then if you have those goals written down, you can actually write the steps in order to achieve those goals. So this is something like that, but really you just push your boundaries of your mindset a bit more every time, every day.
No, I would say that the scaling mindset is very real, since we can see how your mindset creates this change and impact you implement each and every day. And with that, I'm taking you to your life story, if I may say that. You mentioned your childhood already, Julia, and we become who we are due to our experiences we had. Could you please share what experiences made you, what experiences influenced your leadership style, which you have today?
So we are getting into therapy part of this conversation. I always say that I was very lucky when I was growing up because I had access to a great education. And I mean, this is an obvious topic that, of course, females are not perceived as leaders or or it's not beneficial to be perceived as a leader or a strong person when you're a female. And of course, it's all changing. But I mean, I was growing up 30 years ago, 25 years ago. So it was maybe not like that, but overall, but in my case, I was studying at the great school where everyone was treated equally, no matter whether you are a boy or a girl. There were equal requirements towards every student, and you actually had to learn mathematics, you had to learn physics, you had to know chemistry and so on. There were no excuses, no matter what gender you are. But that I'm saying that because I did see this in other schools that, they were saying to girls that, well, you will just get married, don't worry about mathematics or anything like that. So in my school, it was not the case at all. We all had to study and to work hard. And I think this environment that was created in that school actually created my mindset that when I thought that everyone could be their best, everyone could be a leader, I didn't see any limitations or any boundaries at all. And so I think that's what shaped me at the beginning of my life story, that at school, I do say that I've been super lucky to be at that school. And my parents also always said that it is so important to find what you like to do and to be a leader there. They were not saying such words, but they basically said that if you work towards the thing that you want to have, you will achieve that and you will get basically everything what you want: recognition, money, power, if that's what you want. So I think that's what really at the beginning shaped me. But then, of course, the professional life, I think because of this mindset that I thought, well, there are no boundaries at all. It's just up to me what I can achieve. I was able to, again, get through so many things. And in my life, there were so many great leaders and my supervisors or my team leaders who actually contributed to me becoming eventually my mentors, my coaches. And in some cases, it was very natural. So we didn't discuss, with my, let's say, manager that he or she will become my coach or my mentor. It was just naturally. since I was so curious and so proactive, so responsible in the things that I was doing, that they naturally just wanted to help me and contribute to me. So I think that's what shaped me a lot. And I would always mention that I had a chance to work with a person who was one of the pioneers of the Silicon Valley when it just started. And he had so much experience in building ventures, in creating software. And he worked with all the biggest names that you can think of: Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, which I should not mention. But basically, this shows just his level, that he was working with such people. And I was able to work side by side with him and learn a lot from him. So I think I'm learning from others a lot, and then I'm utilizing those best models and techniques that I like, and then I implement them. And then some of the things, they come naturally after implementing something. You know, you try some technique, it doesn't work. You might shape it a little bit, and then something new might come out of it. So I think this like no overall, I would say that, yeah, having no limits in my mindset, and then learning from others and utilizing some of the models, shaping the techniques that I learned and actually implementing them. That's definitely what influences my leadership style.
Julia, you know, by listening to you, I thought that my main takeaway would be to be mindful of what people you surround yourself with.
Yeah, that's true.
And in the beginning of the conversation, you mentioned trust as one of the key components of your leadership, of how you see leadership. And I need to humbly admit that I believe that trust and gratitude are two key pillars of leadership. Would you agree with that?
Definitely, definitely.
So could you please share and let's explore how you build and foster trust with your team, with your organization, with your customers, with the world, and how you express gratitude?
Yeah, so we'll start with trust. I think it's just being transparent with everyone. And I do believe in honesty so much. So what I mean by being transparent, let's take as an example our customers. And of course, due to naturalness of our material, there are certain limitations. And we are being so upfront about that, saying that, yes, this is a great material, these are the benefits, but bear in mind that there are some limitations, and we do explain this to our customers, and we try to come up with a solution how we can overcome them, or how we can implement something in their case that would be beneficial for both. But again, even in some cases, we say in all honesty to our customers that our solution is probably not for you, because it will not be beneficial for what you are trying to accomplish. And this is just, just being honest and transparent about all of those things. And so this is the part with the customers. Then with the team, I think close interaction and collaboration with everyone, and also being very open about how we are doing. So we are not like, I don't think we are hiding anything from any team member. So everyone basically knows everything. And of course, in some cases, they do not need to, one department doesn't need to be involved into the other that much, but still they have a highlight or high level understanding of how they are working. And I would say that I'm always open to anything that any team member is proposing, and actually welcoming those ideas, and then making sure that those ideas get implemented, that they get their support that they need. So I think this is also very fulfilling for all the team members, seeing that they do suggest the idea, they have a suggestion, and then it gets implemented with the support of everyone in the team. And then also, I like this technique that it is called retrospective. So if something goes wrong, or even after completion of a project or a bigger project, it's a good practice together together and to discuss what went great during this project, what didn't go so well, and how we would want to improve next time. And answering those questions also, again, builds trust and transparency. But this is also the safe space for everyone to interact and to explain what they would like to see, what the change they would like to see next time. And I think also the big part of trust is actually giving feedback. And I think I'm also being very lucky that everyone in my team is eager to hear feedback, and not only to hear that, but then make an action and change something based on the feedback. So of course, I'm always conscious about how I'm giving feedback. It's never rough. It's always based on some arguments, on some facts, but always with the idea of how we can also improve on that side. And you know, we never have conflicts, or like rarely have conflicts, just because we have this proper way of communication with each other with respect, but at the same time open to the feedback and open to give the feedback. And also, I think we naturally give this feedback in a very ecological way. So yeah, I think this is about trust. And in terms of gratitude, I thank my team every day, even in my mind, when I wake up and when I go to bed, because there are so many things that they accomplish, and so many work that they get done. And I think this is also like what creates this culture in the team, that everyone is thankful to any other team member for what they've been doing. The one thing that maybe we're not as good as we should be is celebrating the wins. Looks like we have lots of accomplishments that happen throughout almost every week. So we might have won some grant, we might be recognized in some media, and we do kind of take a few minutes to celebrate that. But I think we should take much more time to actually celebrate this and feel this accomplishment that, well, this should feel great. Of course, there are so much more things that we could do in the future, but we should stop in this moment and appreciate what's happening right now.
Julia, while listening to you, I had a few insights. First one, it is very crucial to be consistent in how you exhibit trust, both in good and bad times. If we're not consistent, then we ruin trust. And about gratitude, another insight was that gratitude is fuel to drive in collaboration between team members. And as to celebration, I would invite you, your team, our listeners, to stop for a second and to think about three things we have to celebrate today, big, small, whatsoever. So just in our mind, let's celebrate. And almost in conclusion, Julia, I would dare ask you what challenges you face as a leader today, and how do you face them?
I like to call challenges opportunities. So we have several opportunities ahead of us. So yeah, and interesting. It goes back to what we discussed about scaling. So it's not. So I think I already did scale my mindset, and now it's actually a matter of implementing all of this scale in real life. So we are scaling our production line with increasing capacity. So this means that we are scaling our customer base, so working towards gaining more and more customers, raising more awareness about what we do. And also, we are starting to raise our seed round. So, of course, this is also, it is a bigger round than previous. And we know that we are going to raise this round. And yeah, it's just like, again, I'm looking forward to all of those opportunities to scale the production line, to scale the customer base, and to raise the new round.
Good luck with that, Julia. So, as we wrap up our conversation, I would have my common question to you. And I would love to invite you to share one recipe or one piece of advice you have as to leadership, so that we would keep it in the kitchen.
Maybe it's not only about leadership, but I think it relates a lot to that. I would say just keep going. And it doesn't mean, just keep going and, do not stop to reflect or something like that. But still, no matter what happens, if you see this aurora star, this northern lights, ahead of you. Just go for them, and there will be challenges and opportunities on your way. But seeing this final goal, final destination, you will be able to get there. And maybe a little bit controversial, that of course there always has to be a goal, but the path is also a goal, and it is such a great opportunity to be a leader, to be able to work in a startup. And there were so many new people that I met. I've been part of such a great network. I've been able to talk in such podcasts as yours, and to have a platform for my own ideas and to sharing them with others. So I would say those two things, that, keep going and have this final destination in your mind, but make sure to have fun and to enjoy while you're walking this path.
Julia, thank you so much for sharing your path with us today, for sharing your story, which is full of passion, professionalism, and authenticity. And I would tell you, keep on going. I'm just excited about what future holds for you, for your team, for Ukraine, and for the world. And I'm just thrilled thinking about what impact and change you are creating and you will create. Thank you so much for being in the kitchen with me today and with our listeners. It was an honor.
Thank you very much, Olya. It was great talking to you, and thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you for listening to this episode all the way through. I greatly appreciate all your feedback. My team and I read every comment and value each one. I eagerly look forward to the opportunity to inspire you and share interesting thoughts in the next episode. If you have ideas about whom you would like to hear on the Leadership Kitchen podcast, please share them with us. And if you want to receive more useful information and develop your leadership skills, subscribe to our Be Change newsletter via the link in the episode description. Be the change you want to see in the world. This is Olya Panivnyk, founder and CEO of Be Change Coaching and People Advisory Agency.